Do you want to know how you can double your earnings with free AI tools when you are earning on microtask platforms online? Then this video is for you. My name is Michael and I've tested hundreds of different microtask platforms, and many have asked me if there is a way to use AI legitimately to earn faster on these platforms. And there actually are ways to do this, but you do need to do it the right way and with the right expectations also. And in this video here, I will show you 5 realistic examples of how you can do this to speed up your earnings. So first, I just want to explain that this will be an overview video where I will show you 5 realistic ways where you can use free AI tools on free earning platforms to speed up your earnings. But I will also make a whole series here. So this is to give you an overview, to give you an inspiration. And then for each of these methods, I will make an extra video where I go more in depth and show even more details and actually show you physically how to do that on my screen. So just wanted to make you aware of that. So depending on when you're watching this video here, you can check out the playlist. I will leave a link to here also in the description once it's ready. So you can go there and watch all the videos there. If you watch this as soon as it has been released, then you have to wait for a few days or so before the next video is released. So I just wanted to make that clear. A second thing I want to make clear is that AI can really help you be efficient with many things, including earning online, even on free online earning platforms, even though many people have a hard time to see how that is actually possible. What is just very important to always think about with AI, because there's so much hype about it online where people say, oh, you just click a few buttons, AI does all the work and all that, you don't have to ever work again. That's not how it currently works anyways. So what you need to do is to be aware that AI is a really great tool, but it is a tool. It does not mean that you do not have to do any work at all. It will not do all the work, but if you use it as a tool the correct way, it can really help you become more efficient and also earn way faster online. And the great thing about these platforms that I will show you, there will be tasks that you can do no matter your background, your location, or your skills. And with the use of AI, if you do it the right way, you will not only earn more efficiently, you will in many cases also be able to do work of higher quality. And you can even increase your accuracy and consistency and in general just be more efficient, which in some cases on some platforms also mean that you can potentially even qualify for more complex or higher paying tasks once you actually demonstrate that you are very efficient and do everything with high quality. But let's now then go over these 5 examples to give you an overview of how you could use AI for these online microtasks. So let's start by talking about data entry and microtasks. A couple of platforms, for example, where you can do that is something like Timebox and Clickworker. Here you can find these microtasks and data entry. It's not completely the same type of task, but I just wanted to put them together because the way you can use AI is similar. And then I will make a video where I go into even more details and show you also how I do it on my screen. But what you, for example, can do on some of these platforms is that you sometimes need to leave comments, or for blog posts, write small things, tag or classify short pieces of text, or annotate videos or audio clips with specific details and all these different things. And the great thing is, for example, with AI, you can use it to ask it saying like, okay, you need to read a blog post and give a great comment. You can paste that into ChatGPT and say like, summarize this article. So an article that maybe would take you 10 minutes to read, you can just get the bullet points so you really understand the in-depth of it in 2 minutes or even less. And you can even ask it to write a draft for a comment. And that could be one thing. If there's a video you need to give some feedback about or something like that, you can, inside something like ChatGPT or another AI tool, you can ask it to summarize a video even and paste the link in there, and you can get a video. So even if it's a 20 minutes video, you can get just bullet points so you will understand the overall idea of the video in very little time. And you can also, for example, if you need to tag or classify short pieces of text with data entry jobs, you can paste that into something like ChatGPT or DeepSeek, and then you can just basically ask it the task you're meant to do, and then you will get a good idea of it or a good first draft of it. It's just important again to remember this is a tool, so it's not actually doing all the work for you, it's doing it more efficiently, it's helping you, but you always need to also make sure that the quality is correct, and you need to make sure to read each platform's guidelines so you do not break the terms, and always check, because AI can make errors and sometimes it does something that just sounds strange and doesn't make sense. So always remember, quality is very, very important, both for ethical reasons, but also just in general to avoid getting banned. But if you use it the right way, it can speed things up a lot. So let's talk about the next type of task you potentially can use AI for. Another type of task you can use AI for is something like small transcription tasks. This is where you usually would have to listen to short audio or video clips and then type out what's said. Or sometimes you need to review also AI generated transcripts because they need human eyes also. And how can AI then help you with tasks like this? Well, you can use AI, for example, to get a rough transcript, and then you can then proofread it and format it. And you can even also paste that rough transcript into a free AI grammar checker, for example, like Grammarly's free plan or something like ChatGPT or DeepSeek. And then that can help you to fix grammar and spelling very quickly. And personally, I use something like Grammarly a lot for everything I write, and it really helps me improve my writing and my sentences and different things like this. So again, it is not something that will do all the work for you, but it can help you become more accurate and more efficient. So the next type of task I want to talk about is paid surveys. And a lot of people I know would love to just get AI to do all the surveys for you, but I just want to make it clear that is not what I will show you, because that is not really realistic. Because first of all the platforms that have paid surveys, they of course want to avoid that, because the feedback would be useless if AI replied to the survey. So they of course have security measurements, so they will avoid that. And also for ethical reasons, like if everyone started doing that, it would just be a matter of time before companies would not use paid service anymore, and then you wouldn't be able to earn from it. So that's one thing to be aware of. But how can AI then help you to take surveys more efficiently? Well, for example, if a survey has long text passages to read, and they sometimes do, or sometimes you even need to give feedback of a video or something like that, then you can use AI to summarize these big texts. For example, ChatGPT or Chrome extension or DeepSeek, and then you can quickly grasp the main points. Another AI tool is, for example, to use automatic translators, because sometimes people are in a country or they live in a country where they don't necessarily speak the language, and then you can actually use AI to translate the survey, so you can even take surveys when you don't actually speak the language of the survey. So that's a couple of ways you can use that. So I will also make a video in this series here where I go more in depth into how you use this AI tools for surveys and actually show it also. And before moving on to the next, I just want to ask you to take 1 second to like this video, because it can help it to be seen by more people, and I would definitely appreciate that support. The fourth example I want to show you is online testing or user testing, and usually that's where you visit websites or use apps and you record your screen or your voice and you share feedback on, for example, usability and design and other different things they might ask you about. And how can AI then help with this? Well, it could, for example, be to script your feedback. For example, if you are struggling with articulating feedback, you can quickly just write down some bullet points from ChatGPT on what typical usability issues to look for, and this can help you to become more thorough when you are then testing. And it can also help you to summarize findings. For example, some platforms will ask you for a written summary of your feedback, and that means that you can actually run your notes through an AI tool like ChatGPT or DeepSeek or many of the other tools, and then organize them into a great summary. And you can do that very fast, and then of course go through it manually also and check that everything makes sense. And in general, I also just want to say, if you have other ideas how to use AI, not just for user testing, but for the other options, then feel free to share in a comment below. That would be great to hear. And I also just want to make you aware, for example, on my website, I do have a list of the best user testing platforms, so you can go and check that out. I also do have a list of the best paid service sites in each country. I think I forgot to mention that, so I'll also leave a link to that below. And in general, also I will leave links to more about the different types of earning methods that I talk about here, so you can find the best of the best platforms to earn that way. But let's now talk about the last example I wanted to show you. The last type of task is content moderation, because some social media or community platforms, they outsource moderation tasks via companies, for example, like Lionbridge here, or it can also be something like Mod Squad. There are quite a few platforms like this. It can also be on just freelance platforms where you can look for content moderation gigs. I have a list of the best freelance platforms on my website. I'll also leave a link to that below. For these type of jobs, you would review short posts or comments or images or videos or label them sometimes as appropriate or not, or you need to mark spam sometimes or abusive content depending on the guidelines. There can be different tasks like this. And how can AI then help you with this? Well, it can help you to do what you can call like a first pass filtering. So if you're allowed to copy content into a separate tool, you not always are. So again, that comes down to making sure that you check the guidelines of the specific platforms you are earning from. But if you are, then an AI tool can help you do this initial check for example, toxic or offensive language, and then you can of course confirm it and also adjust this classification that you have been asked to give. It can also help you to do quick summaries of long comments, for example. If the comments are very lengthy, then you can use AI to summarize it and highlight the key points so you can very fast see if it violates certain guidelines. But again, always make sure to double check AI's output, because sometimes these automated filters, they can miss the context or miss the overall guidelines. So make sure to always double check. So as you can see, there are many ways to use AI to earn more efficiently when you are doing microtasks online or different jobs. And it's all about being creative. This is just examples. And if you have other examples, other ideas, please feel free to share below. That would be great to hear. And as mentioned also, this is just a quick overview video to give you some inspiration to get started with using AI in a legit and ethical way, of course. But if you then do, then it can be a very efficient way to earn more and even produce higher quality work. And I will make this into a series as mentioned, so I will do more videos here where I will dive deeper into these different examples and actually show you also how to do it and explain more about what I would do and wouldn't do and all these different things. But I hope this gave you some inspiration. As mentioned, I will leave links below also to info I have on my website of the best ways to earn this way, so you can go there and get started and testing what I've said here. And please also share your findings when you start testing this, and then make sure to check out this playlist here with this whole series here. Once all the videos are live, they are not all live by the time you watch this, then just keep an eye on my channel, and overall just make sure to subscribe to my channel, hit the notification bell, and then you won't miss out next time I release a video with tips and tricks about different ways to make money online.